Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending at YouTube. This is my always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, I had a busy day today. It's a busy day. This is my second interview of the day, and I had the pleasure of having this lovely lady on here last year. She made her IFBB Figure Pro debut at the Triple O Dynasty, which is just about a month away. Shout out to that show. Big fan of, as you know, my girlfriend. She's one of the promoters of that show. That's the lovely Miss Andrea Shaw.
Oh, Andrea, she's my girl.
My girl, my
She's my
girl,
girl.
my girl, my girl, my woman.
Oh,
You know,
okay. All right. Good.
yeah. I don't like to fight a woman for a woman, but you are a pretty woman, so I would fight you, but I'd be kind of pervert. So we have here Lisa Saygun. As you know, Lisa was an IFBB figure pro. She just announced that she's retired from the IFBB because she's focused on other things outside of competitive bodybuilding. She's now working as a coach, a trainer. She's doing a lot of other stuff with other federations, and also she's a mom. So she's working for the lady from down under. It's get a great opportunity because really I've been maybe quite a few ladies from that part of the world. It's as one of my other characters, I am an international player. If you want to know, from here goes my man Jerome, the Himalayas. So Jerome is in the house, and we have Lisa. So welcome back. So what's been going on? What's been up with
Oh,
you? Being that
wow.
you now,
It's been almost a year since we've been on a platform like this, even though we interact, on a daily basis with memes all the time. I think that's our relationship, isn't it? It's just memes back and forth.
yeah.
um, Yeah, so I had an extraordinarily successful debut year. And like I superseded my expectations, to be honest. I just wanted the experience to have the platform there to say, hey, you know what? I got my pro card and I actually competed as a pro. For me, that's what signifies a pro, not just having the pro card. It's actually competing, at least doing one show. So for me personally, like that's my definition of it, is going, get up on stage and do it. Now, unfortunately, there's no pro shows in Australia, and there haven't been for 6 years, and we have no idea when there's going to be another pro show at all, because there's not talk about it. So I decided to look at some shows, and the one that really resonated with me, and at this point, Rose and myself had already been doing the Go Figure podcast, was doing the Triple O Dynasty. A big fan of what those ladies do. So I know you've given a shout out, but I want to give a shout out to amazing experience. One of the best experiences that I've ever had competing in a show, to be honest. I got to step on stage with Olympians, one of my idols, Wendy Fortino. I got to meet my girl, Andrea Shaw, and it was like a mini Olympia being there with, Whitney Jones, who we had on the podcast last week, and Sid Gillen as well. Like, it was just an absolutely amazing experience. So it's one that I absolutely endorse. And, I'm glad that I was part of that inaugural process. Now, obviously, I placed third and fourth, third in the Masters and fourth in my first lineup against 3 other Olympians. I was stoked. And then we went on to do Tri-Cities as well, where I won the over 35s and got third, next to 2 other Olympians as well, in my debut year. Right.
but
So
yeah.
we're back.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Mhm.
sorry,
But
you
yeah,
go.
that's
No,
pretty.
no.
You've been, like I say, well, maybe speak a little bit over here, but yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, most competitors, especially the first year, sometimes they get next to last, dead to last. I mean, you did pretty good, especially your first 2 shows. And now I understand that, yeah, you focus on more things outside of bodybuilding, and when
Yeah.
your retirement, and we talked earlier of the personal reasons why you did it. I know it's sometimes it's tough to walk away from the sport. I talk to you say it's tough, but then you know what? Your life, state of mind is more important than a sport.
One of the most, and so glad you brought that up, George, because it's really important to recognize that my identity is not an athlete. I don't identify as I'm an IFBB pro. I need those, letters at the front of my name. I'm so much more than that. I'm a mom, I'm a businesswoman, there's so many more titles, if you'd like to say, that for me are important. And, one of the things that I find can be quite unhealthy in the sport is the identity that some give themselves, okay, that they define themselves by, being a bodybuilder. And then when they do retire, I mean, this is not just with bodybuilding, you see this with other sports as well, like all sports. They're like, who am I? I've just invested 20 years, 30 years, my whole life getting to this point in my, career, in my sport, and I don't know who I am. Fortunate for myself, I've had some great mentors and I've done a lot of work on myself. So I lived a very balanced and realistic life leading up to this point. And, if there's any advice that I can give to anyone that's out there, make sure that you're not defining yourself by, whether you're a pro or not, whether you're a number 1 or number 10, that start looking at your values, start looking at outside of the league as well. So, because if you want to have longevity in the sport, you need to have balance as well as the extreme. And I think that's important to state as well.
Yeah, it's important to find, balance, longevity. This sport can be tough. It's mentally, physically, emotionally,
Mm.
spiritually, financially. So
Mm.
it really take a lot from you. Wait a minute, we have a couple of guests here.
Oh,
My first guest here, I'm gonna shout out my man KL the Wanderer. Shout out to him. He says, "Hi, George and Lisa." And here we
hey.
have another guest. She has been on my live stream before. I hope maybe someday I get her on. That is the former women's physique champion of Miss Olympia,
I love
Natalia
her.
Puejo.
Hey, girl.
Lisa, good, says Lisa with a big heart, and it says, "Good evening, George and Lisa. Thank you." My man Kia has a question. He says like this. He says, "Is that the real Natalia?" Well, it could be. Like I said, I've seen this. That's her avatar, and she has been in a couple of my live streams, and also she has commented. Like I said, I've said this before. Not a big fan, but I do respect her as an athlete. I mentioned that quite a few times, but but we hope to maybe see her compete this year in the Olympia. Just the Olympia. Don't touch any of the shows. Leave them alone. But anyway, so the big question is, how your boy doing?
He's doing really good. We had a couple of shake-ups last year where he ended up in hospital and in ICU with pneumonia, and because of his half a heart that he's got, it's it's a fatal outcome if he doesn't get to hospital quick fast, because he only has like one atrium and one ventricle, so he doesn't have the other side of his heart. It wasn't developed. So so we got through that, which is great. And now he's kicking goals, George. He's going to be 10 in October. We were told he was going to give a 1% chance of survival to make it to 10, and he's thriving. So God bless. I couldn't be more happy.
Well, you should be, because you know what, a boy's best friend is his mother. Mine's was, and I miss her every day. I think about her. It's going to be 6 years coming up this summer since she passed, and he has you in his corner, and that really matters to him. I mean,
Mhm.
I like I said, my mom, like we used to sometimes used to argue sometimes, little things like I used to, like you said like this, like, ain't that a man, mama? Ain't that a man? I said, no, you my baby. I said, I thought it was a man, mama. But she understood that, she used to tell me this, said, son, I wish you didn't do this. I wish your sisters do what need to be done. A man shouldn't be doing this. But I said, Mom, everybody else got their lives and doing this. So I'm the only one here. I don't got no kids. You're my responsibility because you were my woman. And that was my responsibility to take care of my woman. So I love her, and it's a good thing he has you. Here, this is for my man KL. He says this. Shout out to KL the Wanderer. He says, "Best wishes, Lisa, to your son. Thank you, brother." And also, I think he's addressing Natalia. He says, she needs to come on your show. Well, maybe, but the one person, KL, you know me, you know who I want on my show, and I would love to have the lovely Miss Andrea Shaw. That would be
I'll
my dream.
introduce
Yes,
Andrea for you.
yes, I will. Yeah, I would love to have her on here because I remember my friend Eunice was at last year at at 2023 Olympiad and still have that issue. I need to put this in. I don't know why. I just hug it every time I do my interviews. I want to pull it because you know what? I love the fact she took her time. She even know me, and she took the time and wrote in this thing and tell me how much she appreciated my support. And maybe someday I get to meet her. I don't know. I might act like some stalkerish kind of guy, but I'm not. I'm a fan. I think she's a lovely lady. She
She
represents
is
herself in the
an
division.
incredible human. She's an
Yeah.
incredible human. She is, honestly. She's one of the good ones. She's authentic. She says it as it is. And, she's just a all-rounder, beautiful woman. She takes time
Mhm.
out for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because you know what, bodybuilding needs that. It needs some good representation,
Mm,
because as you know, it's always getting the black eye on it. We were talking earlier, the young lady who passed away, Jody Vance, at the Arnold Classic. And personally, I'm not a fan of the Arnold Classic. I will keep saying this on. I love Arnold's movies when I was growing up, but I don't like his politics when it comes to the women's division. And
yeah.
and this is just something. Yeah, we talked about how this happens quite often. Surprisingly, people don't think it happens quite often in sport. I remember one time long ago, a young lady who passed away in Spain in kind of the same condition. Elena Havani.
Yeah.
And it is something that I'm like Monday. I'm going to do. Usually, I have my podcast, Let's Talk Mondays, where we talk about stuff like this. I'm going to talk about this and also some other situations that's been going on. Where I think the NPC IVB should step up and put in protocols and maybe education. Because I think a lot of these young competitors, they need that.
There's a duty of care that you have as a federation, and whether that you're the NABA, IFBB, pro official, whatever federation you're in, you have a duty of care to your athletes, right? So at least you're crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and there is no one at the top end that's actually talking about this. Okay, we've had 274 NPC and IFBB athletes pass in the last 4 years since 2021. I've counted every single one of them, right? And these were deaths that could have been prevented. And so what education is being put out there at the moment? Why is, let's say in some of the categories, and I'm going to talk about this now because I'm on the outside, why are some categories getting bigger and harder? And George and I kind of have a little bit of banter about this as well. Sometimes we agree and sometimes we disagree. But figure, if you look at figure over the last 10 years, how much it's evolved and when does it stop? Right. And then you're looking at wellness, when wellness first came out and where wellness is now, like the girls are getting bigger and harder. And I truly believe that the league is also responsible for this because they keep rewarding the monsters. They keep rewarding the big girls and the hardest ones that are on stage rather than just the criteria. Right. So how are we going to moderate it? Because then these girls are pushing for that next thing. They're like, well, I need to be bigger than that person or leaner than that person. And then, they're taking extreme measures to push themselves into a position where they've got a chance for that Olympia title or that first call out or whatever their goals might be. Now, I'm not putting it all on them, but I'm just saying there is a duty of care, okay, that needs to be spoken about publicly and addressed, number one. Number two, what the fuck are the coaches doing? Like, what are they doing? How are they grooming and educating their athletes? And number three, athletes are also responsible. Do your work. So it's not just a one person situation here, but it has to start from the top.
Mm-hmm.
And there needs to be a culture that's, developed. And I know for me, myself personally, I was not going to push myself into a space where I didn't want to go that would impact my health, right? That, using PEDs that are excessive. And, if something happens to me, who's my son got?
Right.
And for what? Am I going to win $500,000 or have a chance at it? Absolutely not. So
Like you'd be lucky because one thing this year I think the Triple O's put up $9,000 for
yes,
figure, but that's not
yes,
much after you put in your costs to travel to the shows, to getting prepped for the shows, and right there just post the show. As I say this, I'll keep saying this: the guys got to wear banana hammocks and board shorts and
mm,
tanning. Y'all ladies have to have a presentation where you have to have femininity, you
oh,
have to have looks, you have to have your makeup done, your hair done, your suits right there. That's not anything. Now, if it was like something like what Derek Lumford got at the Arnold Classic, hey, it's a good chunk of change. Hey, you can really live off of that for a good while after you take out your taxes. But
yeah,
you're not going to get that because I keep saying this: the men's division is going to be is the bottom bitch. It's the one that gets the attentions and the sponsors and the promoters to go behind it. And I wasn't talking about how, as you said again, that you were at the Triple O, and this was the lady who won it, who was at Triple O Women's Physique that year. That is Ann Gruber, and this is
yes,
Tessa Metz,
yes.
The Charlotte Pro, because this year the Charlotte Pro is not going to have women's figure, or they dropped it. Now, if you look at these two women, you say to yourself, now one is figure, one is physique, but if you look, they can either be one or the other. One could be bodybuilding, one could be physique, or both could be physique. It's just
Lines are
what,
very
yeah.
lines are very skewed. Yeah, it's not separate. Like if you look at the criteria for each of the categories, because everyone's been evolving and changing, has the definition, even though the words are still there saying that we want no striations in figure, and we don't want deep cut separation and a lot of mass. Has that been distorted? Over time. And if that's the case, great. Well, why don't you evolve the criteria then to match what's being rewarded?
Because
Okay.
not everybody, yeah, because not everybody can stay that hard and conditioned like that. If you have a certain criteria you're supposed to stick to, where you're supposed to be more softer, still lean, but not too hard,
Yeah.
not too styrated. If you're looking at, right now, as you heard, Mrs. Trescott jump over the figure,
Yeah, we've had her on our
and
podcast.
yeah,
Adore
you
her.
had a podcast, yeah, and this is a big move for her. She's been a fitness competitor for a long time. And then you look at the top three at one time at the women's figure at the Olympia. I don't why can't say women's figure. Let's say figure. There's men's figures. They call it men's classic. But if you look at where it was, you had Sig Gill at the top. You had Jessica Reyes Padilla, and you had Lola Montez. And now with Sid out of the way, I think now whoever becomes champion is going to be the person they're going to chase after
Yeah.
for like if you look over at the women's physique now with Sarah's champion, now it's gonna be a look that everybody wants to chase after.
And they're very extreme bodies. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from these athletes. They're amazing, incredible. But is it the criteria? Me personally, I don't believe it is. I don't believe it's what the criteria is. I know when I got into this sport, what I was looking at on stage and what was being rewarded, and that matched the criteria. What I'm seeing right now is big, hard, striated, vascular women winning the figure category, which, being awarded. And again, I'm not taking anything away from these athletes. They're beautiful human beings and they just got great physiques, but there's this distortion. So now we've got all the newbies and all the rising stars coming through the ranks and all the, the next generation coming through, and they're looking at them and they go, I've got to be bigger than that. I've got to be leaner than that. I've got to be better than that. And it just keeps going. Now, in the contrast, and I'm going to say this, I have had the opportunity to compete in every federation, George, in 26 years, from natural federations to non-tested, you name it, the whole works. And, if I'm looking at the evolution in some of the other federations, like even PNBA or OCB or NABA, and I'm looking at the athletes over a 10-year span in each of those respective categories, I'm going to be honest with you right here, and I've seen it, is that there isn't an evolution. They're not getting bigger, they're not getting harder, they're not getting more striated. Like they're in those respective categories. With NABA, for example, you've got 3 types of figure. You've got figure toned, you've got figure athletic, and you've got figure trained. So that they've got ones like you still figure, but just different amounts of size and conditioning with that, which I think, well, that's great because there's something for everyone. And so if something like the pro league's looking to evolve without the distortion of what's happening right now, like instead of adding fit bikini in, how about add something between figure and physique? So you've got a classic figure and then you've got the normal figure, and the difference between the two is one does the muscularity round and one just does the symmetry round.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's just my opinion. I'm just having an opinion, right? That's just my opinion.
Well, like I said, well, you have the right to your opinion because right now you're not in the game. You have no skin in it at all, but you have the right to your opinion. Here we have a comment from a man, KL the Warner says, they both look physique. Yeah, they kind of, Also, he says this, he says, Lisa, how do you think what figure should be? And I think she just kind of mentioned that. And also, he says, what was your best show, Lisa? So what was the show you feel like just any show you feel like it really was your best in your opinion?
So, okay, are we talking best about the best experience, the best body, all of the above? Like
all of the above. Pick a show. Pick anything.
Wow. Okay. So I would say that my best experience and the best look that I personally had that I wanted was at the Triple O Dynasty. Absolutely. The experience was second to none. I felt like I was at an Olympia. I was treated like, a pro. I got to meet all of my idols as well. And the package that I brought to the O was right where I wanted it because I have the capacity to kind of get up on stage really striated and flat and lean, ripped, but I've never had that full look. And so that was something that I really wanted to bring out this time round. And I got to do that. I got to bring that full but feminine look. And I was still lean and I was still conditioned. And for me, that was the best look.
You look really impressive.
Sorry?
Yeah, you look really impressive because I did watch that live stream because I was there to support, because they had, just support the, women's bodybuilding and figure and physique having a show for themselves. Especially, it was I would say it was like a middle finger to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic.
But it was a big to the Arnolds.
But this year they're not going to have women's physique because they don't have a sponsor for it. But but I know a friend of mine, and you met her. That's Eunice Kitchen. It's a Bad Rap.
Love Eunice from Bad Rap. Bad Rap girl.
Eunice is doing some good work. She's right now putting up, I think, some prizes, and then also she's also offering she gets new jerseys coming out, and she's offered to the winner. I think women's bodybuilding. Also, she may do fitness too. But it's good that someone's stepping up and doing something for his sport because it needs a lot of help, attention, whatever it gets. I mean, as just bodybuilding is not as popular compared to other sports. Most people don't know who's Andrea Shaw is. They don't know who's Sid Gillen is, or Whitney Jones, or Whitney Fortino, or Derek Lundford. I think one person you do know is that's Chris Seabum. Him, because he's very popular. But if with this, as the new division coming in, the football division is, I think it's trying to get more broad recognition. You can bring in the everyday gym goer who wants to compete.
Yeah, look, I think you've got to find your lane and then stick to it. Like if you want to be the big monster freak show kind of like federation, then stick to that lane and be that. If you want to uh, become more mainstream, then there has to be continuity across the board. Otherwise, there's a lot of mixed reactions happening, right? So you've got one end where you've got these big GI Janes, and then you've got the other end where you've got these, itsy bitsy little bikini girls, and all beautiful, all amazing. But what I think it is what is the IFBB message? Like, what is their signature, whatever it is? You know what I mean? Are we mainstream? Are we the natties? Are we the big freak shows? Like, it just seems to be like it's all in one big package. We want to be everything, right? And I think we were speaking off air, was like, you can't be everything. It's like me taking a step back so I can work on the business and work on the back end, provide opportunities and sponsorship for athletes, and focus on my career. And I couldn't really do that and be an IFBB pro, because I would be promoting even if it's through my business, I'd be promoting other federations, other athletes, coaching them, right? So that would I couldn't have my cake and eat it too. So that would be my message in that regard.
Yeah. He had a comment from man K. He says she almost looks like Brandy May. If you know who that, Brandy May Ackers. She is a full bodybuilder. She's right now planning on making a reality show, which is about dating. Yeah, I reached out to her, hoping maybe get it on for an interview post, because she's already talking to a streaming service about doing reality shows where guys can date female bodybuilders. You should check her out and follow her. Maybe some of the content might be a little risque. You don't want the kid to be around see it, but hey,
okay.
Also, shout out to a man. KLA says, I didn't know about C-Bum until you and Keith mentioned him. Yeah, because they stuck. And my man, a partner on my live stream, my man Keith Williams, IFB Pro men's bodybuilder. And he also says this. He says, nice picture. He likes the pictures. He likes to come in. Because that's the thing is, there is, and also he says this is true for, and this is, I agree with him. He says, I noticed there are different fans in each division. Yeah, because if you look at it like this, this afternoon I had an interview a lady. She's a bikini competitor, and I've been been expanding a little bit. I've been reaching out to girls bikini, figure fitness, and really want to expand my channel a little more. And when I have particularly certain type of women come on here, if you are physique, if you're a bodybuilder, the guys will come on because they will start to see those type of women because they want to see the big muscles. They like that. They're like me. They like the big freaky chicks. They're like me. Their muscle purse smells. That's our crime. But I think each division has certain things they like about. Like, if you look at the men's division, it's gonna get most attention because it's the bottom bitch. It's the one that gets a lot of the promotions and attention. Gets a lot of the fanfare compared to other divisions. And you look at divisions like bikini, it's more of attainable. You just got to work hard, just like any other athlete. But different trainings are different, like between figure, bikini, wellness, and women's bodybuilding and physique. But it's always the levels they have to work on to bring in a certain type of condition and shape.
That's true. I think, given that, and again, this kind of goes back to how broad does one league want to be in terms of, who they bring in, and from a business model end, it would make sense, wouldn't it? Like, and who brings in the most amount of money and the most amount of competitors? The bikini girls, right?
Yeah, so the lady who I talked to, she did Universe.
Yeah.
And that's a pro qualifier. And I remember a lady who I knew who was there because she was supporting her friend competing there. She was competing women's physique. She told me that at that show they had 600 bikini competitors.
George, how long does that show go for?
I think those are 2 days.
Do they rotate judges?
I don't know because I talked to two ladies who got the pro card at that show.
Was this an IFBB pro or was it another federation?
it's the NPC. It was the NPC Pro qualifier.
Okay.
It's promoted by Steve Weinberger. And
Oh, okay. Yep.
yeah, it's in T-Neck. And I think it's like maybe usually it's a couple of weeks, no, a couple of months after the New York Pro, but it's a Pro qualifier. And like I said, I was told by the lady who was there because her friend was competing there to get her pro card, and we're in physique. And she told me, George, there's like 600 bikini competitors. And I
How
talked
do
to
you
some other people they said the same thing. There was that many. And
how,
we
how do
have,
you one
you
one
know,
winner?
I mean, I don't know. I talked to her name is the one lady I talked to China. I think she was in one class. The other lady I talked to today, Catherine, she was in another class. And I asked her, how did you get? Said, well, George is just, because she was, China was competing, I think, in one class while Catherine was competing in a master's class. And in
Yeah.
master's class, you have to win. You're the only winner in that class. Where compared to like if you do like a show like Nationals, top two get their pro card. Some shows do that. You get the top two, get the pro cards. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So, folks, what we got, Lisa here, we're going to jump into her IG. If you want to follow her links are in the description. You can check her podcast with her partner, Rose. That's the Go Figure podcast. It's also in the description of this interview. Guys, you want to reach out and support her and, just follow her in the sport of bodybuilding. She's not competing anymore, guys. But here, I'm going to tell you this, and I tell this all the time to you guys out there. I know you love these chicks. I know you like to see their, when they're buff and shredded, get a little excited, you get a little pop tint. But guys, she has a kid, no D pics. Don't do that.
No
Stop
DPs. You'll
it.
be instantly blocked.
Get some help.
You
So
know,
we're gonna.
George, one of the things is that even though I've stopped competing on stage, I haven't stopped bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is something I'll do forever. Now I get to throw myself into competing here in Australia, competing and helping other athletes in Australia, predominantly working closely with NABA and a couple of the other federations, like I've always wanted to do and build my brand. But I will always be bodybuilding. For me, I want to make a change, and that's why I got on here to let others know that I want to make a change for women in this sport. I want them to be paid. I want them to be sponsored. I want them to be supported, and I don't care if you're a pro, an amateur, from IFBB, MPC, NABA, or any of the other federations. Everyone deserves to have an opportunity, and we just don't get that here in Australia. But I'm about to change that.
Well, we hope to invest with that because it does need that, and it does help get attention, recognition, because there's a lot of work to be able to. Now, here's one of her videos right here, and I'm going to pull it up.
Hello, ladies. My name is Lisa Saygun. I've been in the health and wellness industry now for over 25 years. I know it's a long time. And my focus is around psychology, nutrition, hormones, exercise physiology, and complete body transformation for women. It's my job to get the best out of you. And that is why for over a decade now, the Mind Body Breakthrough Experience has been the most successful system that I have ever created and used. It has helped over hundreds and thousands of women. And the reason why it's so unique and so successful is that because it addresses all areas of your health. It's holistic. It looks at your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your nutritional and hormonal health, and also your physical health. Let's look at them. Mind fitness. Step number 1. Your head tells the body what to do. If your head's not doing the work, your body's not going to follow. So it's our job here at BodyFit to help you retrain, reset, and re-engineer the way that you do your mental health. And we use all sorts of modalities from hypnosis to timeline therapy to NLP to EMDR and psychology to help you get the best out of your mind. Step 2, emotional health. We've all been there. Emotional eating when you're not regulating well. It sucks, doesn't it? You know you shouldn't be doing it, but you are doing it. Here at BodyFit, we train you every single week to get balanced with your emotions. Step number 3, spiritual health. Your spiritual health is the core value, is right up here. It's the CEO that runs the show. So if it doesn't know what's going on, well, the rest of your body isn't either. But we get really clear and we get really deep in the first 4 weeks of our program to help you with that as well. Step number 4, nutritional and hormonal health. And we go through a 4-step process in this nutritional protocol to get you to your results. Number 1, detoxification. Let's get rid of all the toxins that's in your body. After we've kind of like done the chemotherapy there, we want to put all the good stuff back in, okay? And that's the reset phase. That's putting all the vitamins, the minerals, the supplements, and the macros back into your body and laying the slab before we build that amazing house. Step number 3 is the priming phase. This is where we optimize calories, macros, supplementation. This is where we create that lifestyle management where you're able to sustain the food that you're eating long term. And it's important that we do this first before we move into the change phase. Priming the body means optimizing the body, right? If you've been living off 500 calories a day and then I want to put you into a changing phase, which is, dropping body fat and putting on muscle, what am I going to do with 500 calories? So we want to optimize all that first. What we take into consideration here is your lifestyle, is your food preference, is what you're going to be able to sustain and maintain over time. When we've executed that for about 4 to 6 weeks, we move to what we call the change phase. Now, the change phase is where all the magic happens. So whatever that goal is for you, whether it's increasing your performance in the gym, getting stronger, recomposing your body, getting that summer body, we set up step 4, quite similar to that priming phase. All we do is manipulate it by about 10 to 15%, change the timing of the food around, and execute it for 4 weeks. At the end of 4 weeks, we have a 1-week diet break, jump back to that priming phase to remind the body and the mind that the change phase is only the change phase. If we stay there any longer, then guess what's going to happen? It's going to be your new base rate, okay? And you'll be in a deregulated state. So regular breaks throughout the change phase is really important. Step 5, your physical fitness. How are you put together? In part of the onboarding process, what we do is get a DEXA scan, get some photos, look at how you're put together. We get some strength tests done as well so that I know how I need to train your body to make sure that it's getting the results that you want. And we do this, assessing your body on a weekly basis, whether it's on an online platform or it is face-to-face. I use a system called Recomposer, which is absolutely incredible. It is sophisticated, it is hybrid, and it is guaranteed results. And I've been using this system now for 13 years, and it has never let me down. It has helped me build my physique and also hundreds and thousands of women that I've worked with. So now you have a little bit of an understanding into what the 5-step process actually is. And remember, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So every single week, we're going to be looking at how you're doing your food, your training, your exercise, your stress levels, your digestion. It's essentially a mini naturopathic test every single week. We set some goals every single week to make sure that over the next 7-day period, you're set up for success. So if you're ready and you're ready now to make a change and you're serious about investing in yourself and your health, then let's have a chat. Let's hook up. Click that link below and let's get started.
Well, like I say, you are doing some good works. I mean,
yeah,
you came a long way from where you started to you are now. And like I said again, she's been busy. Her and her partner, Rose. We got the podcast. Go figure. They just interviewed Whitney Jones just recently, and also had Missy Trescott and recently also Sid Gillen was on there, wasn't she last time? Or
yeah, she was last in December. She was on. So not last December, the December before that. So 2023, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is like our third year now. Third year.
Yeah. He had also former two-time women's physique champion, Shanique Grant, who's now moving over to wellness.
She's an amazing human being.
Yeah, and you're doing some good works. I mean, and also still keeping shape, still training and teaching other
Yeah.
people the process. Have you getting a lot of your clients are in person and some are online clients?
So I probably have more online clients than what I actually do in person, and that just works for my lifestyle, being a single mum as well. And so, like all of my, posing and things like that, unless it's workshops that I'm doing, are done via Zoom. So we record all the sessions for each of the clients, so they get to watch it back as often as they need to before their next session. So yeah, gotta love technology, right?
Yeah, it's just a way for us to talk. We through here in the Zoom, and your little boy, he's been going through some hard times, but he's been getting stronger. I mean, he's gonna, like I say, you mentioned he's going to be 10 years old in a few months.
Yeah, in October he'll be 10. So he was given a 1% chance that he'd make it to 10, and we're like, I don't know, 8 months off that now.
You should be proud. You as a mother, you still by your boy, especially through his hard times, and and you should, anybody should be proud of that. Oh, I think this is you. Or this is one of your clients.
This is one of my clients. My signature is the back. So all of you can always tell my athletes by their back.
Well, it's pretty impressive, and the tattoos. I'm not a big fan of it, but hey, it's
she's a first timer, so she's a novice, like never competed before. So yeah, she's about, I think, 4 weeks out of her first show now.
Well, wish her best of luck. I mean, it's tough, especially getting into the sport. The work you got to put in, the sacrifice you got to put in. I mean, most people don't understand what's involved as a bodybuilder.
Correct.
The diet, the training, everything that you invest into this sport. It's an investment in yourself also. Here we got a comment from a man. Shout out to my man KL. He says, this shot to KL. Give me a second. He's about to pull up. I need to get a new computer. Get slow. So it wouldn't be easy to watch 600 competitors in one show. Yeah, I couldn't. Even with female bodybuilders, I wouldn't be able to sit there that long. Also, what's a good nutrition plan you give a person who's overweight? So, what would you do for someone like me? I'm a little bit stubborn. I just turned 50 just last year, and I'm setting my ways. Yeah, I'm setting my ways. I'm an old man now. I'm just got 2 bad knees. I Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, look, you don't look like you're 50. That's a start, right? So, I think when you're looking at, or what I do when I'm putting someone on a healthy nutrition plan that needs to lose weight, is I'm just not going to like count macros or anything like that. I need to get into a little bit more detail, so that we're hitting the ground running from the get-go. So the first thing I do is a set of bloods, and then I do some DNA testing, right? That DNA testing is going to allow me to know exactly what your body needs. And the first thing is, like you just watched in that video, we've got to look at detoxing your body first. So taking all the crap out, taking all the inflammation out. What that looks like from one person to the next is so different. So I don't necessarily like to sit here and actually say, oh, you got to have, meat and 3 vegetables in every meal or something like that, because everyone's different.
I don't know. I don't know if I can get away from meat. I mean,
oh no, I'm not saying but I'm just saying everyone's different. Everyone's profile's different. Everyone's desires are different. Everyone's expectations are different. So, what's a good diet for one person is not a good diet for another person. And unless I've got intel, I don't really kind of give that information out, because I don't want to be misleading someone and then they're going off and going, oh, well, yes, I'll just go on a keto diet, or, the Atkins diet back in the day, or the juice diet. Or
that's, like I said, it was about crazy fast, especially around about 2090s. I mean,
yeah.
It's just it's good that you educate that person and also yourself about what can help them in their process. Because nutrition is I know I talk to ladies, nutrition is the most important part, especially about losing weight and also as a bodybuilder. You just can't eat any old thing any old time. You have to find the right foods that are not too high in salts and sugars, lows in fats, and it's a lot of work. And and then food is both a tool and weapon for anybody when they get into fitness, being a bodybuilder or just being a trainer, because you want to have the right things to help you in your process.
Oh, 100%. And also it comes down to performance goals as well. Like, what do you want to achieve? Like, are you wanting to just lose the weight, or do you want to sustain the loss or the build or the surplus or the performance or the strength or whatever that might be? Because then you've got to be, when you're in that place there, you got to, if you're looking for longevity or if you're looking for sustainability, you've got to play the long-term game rather than the short-term game. I can put anyone on, chicken and fresh air for a week and they'll lose 8 pounds, so but that's not going to work for everyone, and it's certainly not going to be sustainable. So yeah.
What would you tell somebody who gets into sport to understand what's involved in it, as from your experience?
What's involved in the sport with regards to nutrition, or what specifically?
Everything: nutrition, working out, training, diet, all. What, as an athlete and also as someone who trains athletes, what advice would you give somebody, especially situations where if they want to have health and longevity, if they get fully invested as a bodybuilder?
Yeah. The first thing I would say is do not touch pets until you have maxed out your personal potential. Okay. Now, for some people, that's 5 years. For some people, that's 6 years. It may be longer, maybe shorter. Everyone's different. If you choose to go down that road, okay, and we're being realistic here, okay, don't use a coach who has no scope of practice, who would be working outside of their scope of practice if they were giving you advice or handing you PEDs. All right. Go to an integrative medicine doctor, speak to someone that is a professional, that is qualified to work with hormone optimization. So that could be someone like an endocrinologist, for example, or an integrative medicine doctor or a health practitioner. So that's number 2. Number 3, do your research on a coach, because you will need one. Okay. Don't just look at what their athletes look like on stage. Look at what their athletes look like off stage. Where do they go? Are they missing in action? Are they active on social media? What's their health like? What qualifications does that coach have? Yeah, what's his experience? Do you connect with that coach? Okay. And what I mean by that is not someone that's going to be a yes coach, but someone that you're going to be able to look at and respect and allow you, and you're going to allow them to kind of like reprimand you where you need to be reprimanded, if that makes sense. So that's important. Number 3, get yourself a good posing coach that is experienced and well-versed in your category. That is essential, and start that from day dot. Start posing, because this is not bodybuilding. This is professional flexing. Okay. What we do off stage is bodybuilding. What we do on stage is professional flexing. So that is the sport that you're in. Okay. The other thing as well is with your food, take the long-term approach. Okay. Have good off seasons. If you're in the States, there are shows every weekend, right?
Just about.
Pretty much. So there's no short of show. You can pop on a plane and jump somewhere. Let your body tell you when she or he is ready to compete. Don't push it somewhere if it's not ready. And, your life circumstances, George, come into play with that as well. Do you have a lot on? Are you juggling a lot of balls at once? So take your time. Don't focus on the sausage, focus on the sizzle.
I don't eat much sausage like I used to, but yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's good, because I think a lot of people need that advice. I mean, as I said, I'm going to do a live on Monday where we talk about instances where the girl who passed away, and also other instances that's going around, and how organizations like the NBC, IFB, PCA, OCB, NAPA, all those should be doing more to protect their athletes.
And
And
you're right. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I stepped out, George, because I feel like it's a duty of care to those federations. Like you said, they should be all doing more, and I have the opportunity to do that now in Australia, and I have the opportunity to do that with NABA. That's being really open, and that's where I have to put my platform right now.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You should do what's best for you. And like I said, I've known some ladies who walked away from the sport, and then they had that itch to come back. But it's up to where you want to go in your path. You found something that you really are focused on, and you really have something that you really, I think, will help, especially in your area. Because like I said again, Australia is very small continent. It's not as close to other shows. Like you have to come all the way from this part of the world to come this part of the world, and even if you find something close to you, that's still a lot out of your way. I mean,
it's a lot of stress on the body, the travel, and trying to get it to peak right, because we have to get in early. It's also, like we spoke off air, it cost me $50,000 last year. Yeah. Ooh. So if I'm doing that for 10 years competing, that's $500,000.
If I had that type of money, I don't.
I mean, we've got to be real here, right, mate? Like it's great betting on stage. It's an awesome platform. But we're not going to get $500,000 unless Sid Gillen, who's now retired, getting $50,000 a year as Miss Olympia. Okay. So
that's the thing I keep talking about. If you can give like Samson Dewar nearly $500,000, you should raise up in the other divisions. I would say Andrea Lee deserves $100,000. She gets that doing both the Olympia and the Rising Phoenix. No, not this year, because she took second to Angela Yo. She, that kind of. I like Angela Yo. I think she had a great body. Kind of broke my heart, but it happens. Sometimes even the best have to take a loss.
Andrea was off that day. She was just off, and she acknowledged that, and she took it gracefully as well. Because I remember her and Linda were backstage, and they had the interview and everything like that. But my God, did she come through at the Olympia?
Yes, I watched it. She looked amazing. I mean, that's my girl. She really, really, I think she really realized, because she switched, because she was with John Simmons. She switched to the producer. That's Sid's coach, and I think he's really I think that's the thing. It's good Like I remember I was talking to one lady. She's a physique competitor, and she had a different coach. Now she's with Severy Star. She said like this: you when you get to the big leagues, you don't stay with the coach that was with you when you were playing in the minor leagues. You want to go get the right big name coach. And the guy looked like I saw a video. Somebody sent me a video of her working out with him. She looks really good. It was from last year, which she was prepping for last year's Olympia. And I think every athlete needs the right person to work with them. I've heard some stories about some coaches where, as we said earlier, they're trying to push certain things. But that's why education is important. Like when you go to a doctor, sometimes you go to another doctor to get a second opinion. And and I think some people don't want to rock the boat. I'm saying you don't want to rock the boat, but here, this is your life, and you should be really considered about if you want to, either survive to see the next year or burn out like a fire.
It's true, and then, you see a lot of the athletes, they're working around the clock. They're, trying to be an athlete full time and be a coach full time and be a parent full time. And for unless you're an Andrea Shaw, or a Sid Gillen when she was competing, or maybe some of the other male competitors, we need to be realistic at where we're investing our funds. Now, some federations, here in Australia actually pay for you to go overseas. I know that PNBA do that, or INBA, or ICN as they call it here. I know that NABA does that, pays for your athletes, flights and accommodation, but, not all federations do that. So like you were saying before, you've got to go and do what's right for you, right? You've got to do what fits within your model. And I've been blessed now to, have competed in all federations, every single one of them, and be well versed. I started with NABA, as well, and NABA in Australia died down, and it's kind of coming back in now, and we've got the Worlds here in 15 weeks, and that's going to be incredible. We've got 20 countries coming for that, and that's our first real big pro international show since COVID, when on the 11th hour, the Arnold's was cancelled. So, we haven't had anything big like that since then. So this is huge.
Yeah.
And the promoters here, like Maria Viginis, she's inviting everyone to the show. Now, whether in Australia, whether you're an amateur or a pro athlete, because some federations allow you to cross over and do that. And I think one of the things that's really hard here in Australia is we don't get those opportunities. We don't get those opportunities to compete. And so I think in a small country where we're restricted and we don't have those resources, all of the federations need to kind of come together and go, hey, we all need to help each other out. We need to get each other's back on this here. We need to look after our athletes as best we can. What can we do? Rather than going, you're the good guy, you're the bad guy, you're this, you're that, and that's going to create longevity in the sport. And I think it'll change the name as well, and the reputation, and, start going for those mainstream sponsors as well, not just ones that are in the league.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we can get the mainstream, think about something like Coke or Nike, Reebok, Gatorade. If you can get those mainstream companies to get involved in bodybuilding, it can make a difference. The prize may be a little better. I think there'll probably be more interest in it. You can even see it back on television again. But the thing is, it's always going to be that finger they're going to point at bodybuilding, the whole use of PEDs and steroids. And I've interviewed ladies who do natural bodybuilding. Like some are IFB Pro or natural competitors, and some are in organizations like OCB, where that's a very popular organization. They can even do crossovers, because I know a couple ladies. They're planning. One lady's planning, hoping maybe she get her NPC Pro card, because we heard a while back the Pittsburgh Pro, they're having a natural pro qualifier.
Yeah.
Here's what pissed me off about this.
Okay.
I'm going to be like this. I'm not a fan of the Manions. And I was so excited when they say, okay, you're going to add men's bodybuilding. Cool. Put the prize money. And I think I was hoping, and I was thinking, okay, you're going to add women's bodybuilding too. That'd be great, because there's a lot of ladies in Pittsburgh, around the Pittsburgh area, that would love to do a show in their backyard. But they didn't. And I'm just like, I'm tight about it, because it's like, and even though women's bodybuilding is not per se as popular compared to the other divisions, it was the division that really started everything for the women. If it wasn't for women's bodybuilding, it wouldn't be figure, it wouldn't have been physique, it wouldn't have been fitness. Here's no offense to, I would say this, no offense to the athletes, offense to the division, which is wellness and bikini. Those were divisions that were brought in. They were more of a invasive species. I know in Australia, certain creatures can't come in there because of custom laws. You can't bring certain creatures to Australia because they might go in and spread out and then change the environment of that area. Like here, if you've been to Florida, there's iguanas. They're not indigenous in Florida. They're from South America, but people had them pets and they throw them out, and then they just become part of the environment. And that's the thing I feel about bikini and wellness. It's not indigenous, but because of the culture of bodybuilding, it has evolved with it. And that's why the fit mall is coming in, because it was a reflection of an old division from back in the day, how bikini used to look like. But then it won't be long before, as you say, there should be a division between maybe physique and figure, or maybe bikini and wellness. But it won't be long before that division start evolving, because of the extreme nature of crossovers. They don't want crossovers in the amateur league right now, but then eventually, because there's money in crossovers, where I interviewed a lady, she turned pro in 3 divisions, 2 in physique and 1 in figure. And that's like, one, I think 2 was the open class and 1 was in a master's class. But that's the thing, money always makes the world go round. Here, shout to the man Lawrence Perkins coming through. Shout to Lawrence. He says, hello, Lisa, George, and KL. Appreciate that, you brother. Thank you for coming through. And I don't know. Things won't change unless people. That's the thing. I think the problem is no one wants to risk maybe getting blackballed or getting pushed out. But here's the thing is, if you want change, it's about taking the risk. Because you don't have nothing if you don't do that. You don't put yourself out there and say, hey, let's do better.
What do you think needs to be done, George? Like if we're looking at, endorsements and getting mainstream sponsors in, because at the end of the day, that's what we need, right? What do you think needs to happen for that to happen?
We talked about some of the podcast. The men and women need to, like Chris Bum said, he's recognizable because I think Jim Sharp, sometimes promote him. They need to put themselves out there, reach out to some of these promoters. Also, educate the people on how steroids is not the big part of bodybuilding. It's only just a little bit of part of it because it's so easy. I know you get that little phrase on here, but it's so easy to put all the blame on it. But here it is. There's more steroid use in mainstream sports. I did content in mixed martial arts and MMA. I know MMA fighters been busted for using steroids. There was that long ago in America. We had a whole congressional hearing on steroids in baseball. Football players use it. That was about 20 years ago when Jose Canseco and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire and all of them were talking about it. But those athletes, they turn a blind eye to it because they're mainstream, but because how bodybuilding is not as like a productive sport. And like I said again, no one knows Andreas Shaw or no one knows Derek Lungford or Samson Dua unless you are a fan of the sport or in the sport. That's the thing is, if you can get the mainstream, get involved in it, and it's up to the athletes.
One of the things that, and this is something that my business is, I'm getting my website done up, and there's an arm that's got athlete management. So this is why I asked that. If you look at mainstream sports, they all have agents. Mm-hmm. There's no agents for bodybuilding.
No.
So one of the arms that I've got in Go Figure is athlete management. So it's actually working with that athlete to help them get that sponsorship. So it's me out there sourcing those mainstream sponsors and educating them and giving them the whys and the hows and the becauses. And that's why I want to change the landscape. That's why I can't do that in the sport. I have to do it on the outside. And there's sometimes when you're really passionate about something or someone, you have a real pull to it, right? You have a real pull to it. You want to, that's your calling and that's what you have to do. And what you said was 100% right. They've got to get themselves out there more, but how? They're doing everything else, right? They're like juggling everything at once, and it's hard for them to go, oh, I've got to post on social media. I've got to, do this, do that, train, eat, run a business, run a family. Oh, shit, I've got to look for sponsorship as well, and it's not an easy gig in terms of like self-promoting. It always comes better received when it's what we call secondhand promotion, when it's someone else promoting that individual and highlighting that individual and able to take some of that load for them.
Mm-hmm. Like one thing I know, they had an interviewer back. Her name's Sherry Yami. She was on a local news station in Florida. She's a mother, she's a dentist, dental hygienist. She's been top 5 at the Olympia before, and she kind of didn't do too well last year. And I've seen Natalia. Even Natalia was on a news station. I think.
Right. Yes, I remember seeing that last year.
Yeah.
It was last year.
Year before last. It's,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you really have to. Like almost was like this. You can find times in the day to do this. It's not that hard. You're working today. You got time. You can find the time, and you got to really maybe just really work at it. Because you think about it, when you finish with this, what are you going to have at the end of the day? Because you want to.
That's good.
Like one thing I would say this, like someone like Andrea she should go on The View or get somebody, hey, get her on, Sports Center or talk to some of these, kind of like women-based shows, and maybe make an appearance. I remember one time it's a wrestler I'm a fan of. Her name is Jade Cargill. She was on an episode of the Sarah Shepherd show. working out with Sherry. I've seen wrestlers do that too, and wrestlers a little bit more popular. You saw that John Cena turned the heel. I mean, it's like, remember when Hulk Hogan turned a bad guy? I remember my brother told me, like, one guy he had to see a psychologist because he couldn't believe Hulk Hogan turned a bad guy. That's how you can touch the people. If these professional wrestlers can touch people, bodybuilders can do the same. There's people who are a fan of it. But one thing is people need to get from under that stigma when people say, like, oh, I'm a fan of bodybuilding, or they make the comments like, are you gay or something? Like, what am I supposed to be gay for? Because you look at guys in little underwear, you look at man-looking women, they're women. I've seen this lady in an opposing suit. She's a beautiful lady. She has great physique. She's a nice lady. Look past all the stuff, get to know these people. Like, I follow social media. Some ladies start following me back. I enjoy when they follow me back. I remember a while back, I was, was a couple weeks ago, was Linda Murray's 63rd birthday.
Yes.
And she was on live on her IG, walking about, just walking out. And I went in there, said, happy birthday. She said, oh, that's my friend, Auto Race George Page. Thank you. I said, oh my God. And Linda Murray know who I am? Because I'm posting stuff. You follow my social media. I'm posting stuff, videos and stuff. And, I want to be a good advocate for you ladies, because y'all don't get that. I think it's about, someone has to step up and say, you know what we need to do is do this. One person can really do this is like the guy who I'm a fan of, who's Saygun bodybuilder. And you know what, guys? I'm about to do it. They're Jake. I want that money. I want that gun. I can't help it. It's like, I don't know about me, Jake, but that's the one guy. He just, talk about, he runs the Olympia. He runs the Wings of Strength. Really, really get to more, like, get on a big, platform and talk about bodybuilding. Talk about,
I like that idea. Like, you'd think that those people would have the power to be able to, or the influence to be able to, like, reach out to media channels and TV stations, and, like you said, start educating and getting out there. It's like, what's his name? He just did a doco. Lee Priest.
Lee Priest, yeah.
Lee Priest. Like, he's just done a documentary and then he's gone on tour. He's gone on tour and then he's just renewed his IFBB Pro card.
Yeah, because
right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, Yeah.
Yeah. And then so we're back. Ronnie Coleman was on the episode of Club Shay Shay, and I've even seen Shannon Sharp. He was at the Olympia. There's a picture of him with Lee Haney and Linda Murray. I mean, Shaq was at the Olympia a couple of years ago. The Rock, let's talk about The Rock. He wanted to do something, but then I think there was some issue or something or other, because he's more popular than Schwarzenegger.
Was he going to buy the Olympia?
Yeah, his wife, because remember his wife used to compete, his ex-wife, and they were there one time. I mean, you just got to reach out to his people. Here we got a man, shout out to a man, Lawrence Perkins says, yes, I remember seeing Natalia on the news and many more athletes in their own town. Yeah. Also, it says, it was a bodybuilder, Cynthia Stewart, was on the Tamara Hall show. I think I checked. Let me see if maybe I can find that. I can search it. And also, he says this: Jay Cutler, Jake, and Ronnie Coleman too. Yeah, shout out to yeah. That's
I think because I'm in Australia here, we don't see any of that. We don't get anyone on any TV shows here in Australia or news panels or anything like that. It's just not done. Or there hasn't been, I think, since the Arnolds. It was on when the Arnolds was here, and that was in 2018. But that was the last time.
Yeah, the thing is that I think it's really that people, it's just not just the competitors need to put stuff out there, but I think, these, production companies or reporters have to be willing and open-minded. Don't be so prejudiced. Say, okay, we got this big muscly guy. Why do you want to talk? Because you never know. You might have inspired somebody out there who's a fan. And the thing is, I keep saying this: guys out there who are fans, who are undercover fans. I know you're undercover fans. You don't want to, get the strange, eye from anybody. But here's the thing: live for you. Don't worry about what other people got to say, because you know what? Those people don't pay your bills. They don't take care of you. They'll do that. Even your family have a problem with it, that's on them. You gotta live for yourself. Here, this is out to my man. Lawrence says, Happy International Women's Day, Miss Lisa.
Mwah.
You are the life of the universe. Thank you, brother.
Oh,
Also, ladies out there, Happy International Women's Day. But every day is a man's day. So,
you
because
had to
I'm
do
a
that.
man. Yeah, I have to do. I'm
You
a
had
man.
to.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's just there's a niche for it. Maybe like I said, like more people. Like one thing I think is the issue is also a lot of ladies do some of them. Excuse my language, that's what they are, the beat meat websites, because it's a way to make money. Because that's one thing I think it hurts some of them because they might get that attention that you don't want. But if there was a platform which say, okay, let's do this. Like that's why sometimes I like black ladies to come on my live streams. Was it last Monday? I had a couple of ladies. They were amateurs who came on. They talked about it. I love to get some of the big names, but I know I'm not a big, platform like the Female Bottom Channel or, Didi. He decided he's not going to be doing it anymore, and Ryan's he stepped away from it.
Yeah, he cracked the shits with it all.
Yeah, he shot you out. He said he shot you out.
Yeah.
Go. But here's the thing is, when he's made that comment, I say that I had him on before. When he was going
Yeah.
through some stuff because of what he said, and somebody didn't got pissed off about it. I said, hey, I'm on. We kind of fell off a little bit because some situation, but I'm not good details of that. But here's the thing is, dude, it has to be the guys who are fans. Most women, may not feel comfortable to talk about it, but there's people like yourself. There's I know Sheena Oleg just started back her podcast. There's Nicole Zenobia
The
and
barbell
yeah,
girls.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing their thing again because it was Hannah Lahar. I think she's moving on from bodybuilding because I don't think she's competing anymore.
Mm.
And also there's others who are trying to start that. It's gonna take a while, but once you get it started and you get the attention and you get the people who want to be interested in it, it can grow. It's about
Absolutely.
taking a chance. Anything worth having, you have to take a chance.
Absolutely. Look, and that's where it has to start, I think. And that's why I'm like, well, I've got to work on my level with the athletes directly and help promote them. And then the next part is helping the federations as well, right? Across the board, not just one, but across the board, all of them. So I'm able to provide, more sponsorship, more exposure, more education for them and their athletes, because obviously they got, that means I can reach a larger number of people as well. And and then it has a ripple effect after that. But like you said, it's going to take time. I'm in no hurry. And as it evolves, it takes one business to make a change. And and one of the things that we're looking at the moment with NABA is we've actually reached out to Honda. So we've reached out to Honda and we're like, why don't you come and sponsor us? So we had recently someone come on the NABA site and have a little bit of a troll at us and compared us to well, they said that, they're in the IFBB Pro League, and they've compared the Pro League and NABA like Ferraris and Hondas. And we're like, well, you know what? We love Hondas. They're reliable, they're sturdy, they're known worldwide. Well, fuck it, let's go get a sponsor. So we've put in, like a little request, and hopefully we might get a sponsorship through Honda as well. But this is the thing that we're talking about on a side note, is that there are, why do we all have to be against each other? Why can't we just all work together and be respectful of each other and be respectful of our spaces as well? So, yeah, very interesting.
Well, it's more sometimes the case is the crab in the barrel mentality. With crabs, the one crab is pulling the other one down so it can get up. And that's
Yeah.
how it is sometimes, even with athletes and businesses, there's always going to be those people who want to pull you down, But like Rocky said, like this, Rocky Balboa says, like, life will beat you down. It's not matter how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can take the hit and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
That's how winning is done.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sylvester Stallone. I'm not a fan of his politics, but I am a fan of his movies, just like Arnold, But it's gonna take time, and it's gonna take some people who are gonna have the courage to say, you know what, let me try something. Let's see what happens. And once you get everybody else involved in it, then like there's a movie called Field of Dreams. Remember, it says, build it and they will come. If you build a good idea, a good platform that people are interested in, and it's something they might like, especially, it doesn't always got to be us guys who are, fans of the women with muscle. It can be somebody who just say, what, just like the human body, see how it grows and
Yeah.
develops. Maybe I just go to a show and check it out. Maybe you might have someone who has a position who's a fan of bodybuilding because they don't want to be like, I don't want to look as a freak or a weirdo. But if you go ahead and take that chance, you know what? I like this sport. I'm a fan of it. And I want to do more for it. If I can approach a promoter and say, hey, I like your show. Like there was going to show in Texas where women's bodybuilding, they dropped because they have a sponsor. If a guy says, hey, I like your show, you miss a certain division that I like to see. I want to, put up the money if I can to cover your sanction fees, your prize money.
Yeah.
And maybe next year we can keep doing this and just get more people. Like one thing to get the ticket sales to come in more. Like there's some promoters don't even do live streaming. It doesn't take that hard. You can get some kids from college or from high school to set up a live stream. It's the technology. The kids nowadays grow up in this technology. You know how to do it. It's just you have to be open to the idea of it. Here we got a comment from a man. says George, get to the chopper. It's the chopper. Yeah. He's a clown, but he's my brother. He's my man. But so we're not going much too long because she's been telling me there might be a chance of a cyclone hitting her here in North Carolina. So we worry about hurricanes stuff like that.
3 days. 3 days we've been waiting for this cyclone. We've got rain at the moment. I'll turn my laptop around so you can see. Can you see outside?
Yeah, I can see.
It's a little bit overcast. I got my cats there. It's a little bit overcast, but that's it. I'm still waiting. So
where's your boy at?
Oh, do you want me to go get him?
Yeah, come bring him in. I like to see the boy. Yeah.
This is George. Come here. Okay. Do you want to say hello to George?
Hello, George.
Hey, Kai. How you doing, son? We have something in common, son. I also have a pacemaker.
Do you want to show them your pacemaker?
So we're brothers. Yeah, we're brothers. So I know how it is, son. Oh, wow. But you're a young boy. You're a young boy. You're healthy. You're strong. You got a good woman behind you, boy. You love your mama?
You love your mama?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something, son. At the end of the day, if you get a girlfriend, that's cool. You get a wife, that's cool. But nothing can replace your mother. Remember that. That's the first woman you ever love in your life. Other than maybe you have your own children, that's someone you're always gonna have. She's been through you thick and thin. And like I said, this son, I'll tell you this. If you were my son, you'd be a welcome son in my house. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, boy, you don't have to thank me, son. You owe me no thanks because I know what you've been through. Maybe not as bad as you have been, but I can understand. Well, go ahead, son. Go watch your cartoons. Whatever you do now, you young kids.
He's a gamer.
Oh, he's a gamer.
Lord help me.
You got a good boy there. You got a good man.
Oh, this kid, he's taught himself how to play Mario, Minecraft, and
except Mario Kart.
Oh, except Mario
Kart. I used to when we were younger. We used to play Sonic. My sisters, they love Mario Brothers, and we used to me and my brothers and my cousins and my nephews used to play like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. We used to have tournaments. My youngest nephew used to love playing James Bond, GoldenEye. He used to kill everybody all the time. You're like, I can't remember last time I played a video game. It's been a long time. Here we got a comment from a man. Man says, see you later, Brandy Ackers. I mean, at least you're ass. He's an ass. Also, he says, this my man, Lawrence Perkins says, hello, young man. You have a bright future ahead of you. And this is also my man, Lawrence says, amen. So thank you, brother. Thank you. We're going to hold Lisa too long. She's a busy lady. She got this and that. There's lots going on right now, but we do wish her best of luck in what she's doing. Don't you cry. Don't you cry. You cry, I'll punch you in the face. So,
I'm not crying. I'm just saying thank you.
all righty. I feel like, I don't want no woman crying on me. I'm an old man. You women crying, you start make a man want to cry. But
I'm a tough bitch.
yeah. Well, I'm just a tough 30-year-old man who likes buff chicks. That's why I am. But doing this content, I get to learn a lot, and I respect what y'all ladies do. Yes, I've done things when I was a younger man, and I don't have no regrets. But I get to learn each time I do these interviews about what it is to be an athlete in sport, the sacrifice you have to make, the time you have to put in. I mean, you're raising your boy by yourself, doing this new venture, you and Rose, what you're doing. Is Rose planning to compete this year, or she's just stepping back and focus on something else?
Well, obviously she did 2 shows back to back, and it's a bit different when you're a natural as well. Your body takes a lot longer to recover. She's also 44 years old, coming up, like me in a couple of days. Yeah.
44.
So I turned 44 on the 11th of March, so next Tuesday, and Rose is 44 in July. So we're at the other end of the.
I remember I was 44. It seemed like that was a long time ago. I woke up one day. Now I'm half a century old.
So I think she does have a couple of more shows left in her. Right now, I know she's studying as well. We're trying to recuperate of the last 2 shows that we did in the last 12 months.
Whoa, yeah. It's what you had to spend. I just, Right now, I'm hoping if, like I said, if things go right, I'm hoping to go to a show. My niece, she lives in Atlanta. I want to go to Linda Murray Atlanta Pro. I can stay with her.
Yes,
She come get. Yeah, she can go. I remember when I went to Savannah. I missed my train back to Savannah. She was the one to come because she lives all the way in Atlanta. That's 3 hours away. She come get her old uncle and grew him back home. And I would love to go there and just to. I know some ladies who are competing there and say, George, I'm hoping. I just got, like I said, I live on Social Security. I have to be tight with a dollar right now. Where our country going right now? Oh my God! Pray for us, please pray for us. But I would love to get the opportunity to meet. Maybe in the future we might meet. If you ever get a chance to come to the States again, I don't know if I want to go to Australia. I'm not ready for planes just yet.
What is going on?
Because we let another idiot do shit that does not work. There's things that been in the system for a long time that has worked. Don't mess with something that's not broken, but it's just a mess. But
it's just the flights. You've got plane crashes happening every day.
We had plans, things set up, and now he's, I'm telling you, it's sad. It's sad. Everybody's looking at this country. We're laughing stock. It's pitiful. Pray for us. Maybe he gets a heart attack and gets out of office. I don't know. I can only cross my fingers and I survived the Reagan administration, so that was that wasn't too bad. And I survived the Bush administration. Everything was great till Clinton. Then after that, and then this dumbass. I mean, but I'm not gonna get too much in politics. I'm just trying to live another day. Hope to see maybe another year if I can. But I would love the opportunity to go to a show, meet some ladies, talk to y'all, even get to meet ladies I've interviewed. I remember when I went to Savannah, I got to meet with Shauna Biles. No, I got to meet Shauna. Actually, when Shauna came down here in North Carolina, she did a seminar. I met her, and then I did an interview with you before that. I meet with Sheena Olick, and meet some other ladies I did interviews with, and just the opportunity just to talk with y'all. And it's been a while because I can't remember last time I just to get the feedback, to hear what their thoughts and their feelings on the sport, and to really like I said, to really educate myself a little more. There's some things I'm still learning. There's some things I miss. I'm not perfect. And I know one lady we have to talk about something. I'm an outsider. I'm a guy out here. I'm a muscle person. No, I am a particular type of criminal because I just love you ladies, and I want to tell you something, Lisa, before I let you go. You are beautiful. But doing these interviews and doing content and talk about your ladies, no one is doing enough of it other than a handful of us here, like, Female Bottom Channel, my man, David, Female Bottom Forum, also yourself, and my man KL also. We really want to really give the opportunity to you athletes. This is from a man. It says, "Stop acting like you that old, George."
Hello, George.
Some days I feel like I've been working since I was a little boy. Now I'm a grown man. So again, I'm right now. I'm talking about maybe getting knee surgery because it's bone on bone on the right knee and it affects my hip.
Oh.
Yeah. Plus, I've been losing weight, but I have been set back because I can't move and be as active like I need to be. But like anything, it's a process. Just like bodybuilding, it takes time, and then you have setbacks. You're not gonna be perfect on your first time out.
You spend more time failing than what you do actually succeeding, but you fail forward.
Yeah, like the quote from my favorite movie, Batman Begins. It says, "When Thomas Wayne asked his son, Bruce, why do we fall? To learn to pick ourselves up." That's how it is. So, yeah. So, ma'am, I do appreciate time you've given me. It's great to see you. Maybe someday in the future we get to meet even here, or maybe one day they get in the plane. I'm at to be like Mr. T18 and just knock me out with keep me on a plane. But maybe someday we get to meet in person.
It's a long flight, George.
I heard it's like about nearly
24 hours almost. So the first leg is always from Australia is always going to be about 16 hours. And then there's a stopover, a pit stop, so they can refuel. And then there's anything from another 4 to 8 hours to get to the States, depending on what part you're going to.
Yeah. I know if I talked to that last time when I talked to Tracy when she came over here to do the Olympia. Tracy looks like she's doing pretty good. I mean, we were talking a while back, I think she might be taking a step back this year because it's like I said, it's suspense. She's a great lady. She's amazing. I hope her best, her and her husband, and all the other competitors from, down under country. I hope y'all, maybe in the future, someone will open up opportunities for y'all as pros, maybe in the future.
For the pro league, especially in Australia, there needs to be a step up.
Yeah, it got to step up.
Absolutely does. There's no pro shows at all here. And, the athletes are suffering. They're suffering, and a lot of them end up dropping off because they just don't have the money to go and compete overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So, someone needs to come in and change and shake things up, or Tony Doherty needs to pull his finger out.
That's the thing is, it's other than that, that's the problem. There sometimes some people hold people back, and then you realize it's not about taking the shine from you. It's about open opportunities.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. It'd be great to have a show in Australia where you can qualify for the Olympia.
Right.
You can get your Olympia in your backyard, and then, hey, I got a few months. I can stack up my chips, and then I can go to
even
the States.
If there's, like, George, even if there's one show for those athletes, like I'm never going back to compete. There might be one show left, but it won't be with the pro league. If I do it, it'll be with NABA. If I do go back. And that's indefinite, right? But for those athletes in this country right now in Australia, they deserve a pro show. They've been patient. They've waited long enough. We are losing pro athletes, right, because they can't get overseas. So NABA's put up the opportunity for those pro athletes who can't afford and realistically probably never will be able to get overseas to come over to do a pro show with NABA, all right? And then if they want to go back to the pro league, they can. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that with the pro league. They can't cross promote or anything like that. But we're just losing amazing, amazing athletes. And it's a wonder why we've had no figure girls make it to the Olympia, right? We've got Danae Theo, who's actually from Greece, but she lives in Australia, who's been to the Olympia twice. Tracy, I think, is the only physique girl that's actually made it over to the Olympia in God knows how many years, and we have no bodybuilders. So, what are we doing? So something has to change here in Australia because, we can't go to New Zealand, we can't go to Japan or China or any of the Asian countries around us either because they don't have pro shows for figure, physique, or bodybuilders. Bikinis, yes, but none of the others. So these poor athletes are suffering, and I sit back and I feel for them. I really feel for them because they put so much hard work, spend so much money with their coaching and their prep and everything that's needed to get there. And, you know, they've been working towards it, and they're sitting here waiting for an opportunity to become available. Whereas we're like, fuck it, we're going to create an opportunity.
Yeah, it has to start somewhere. And, you know,
I'm passionate about that.
but it's good to have. That's good. Especially with bodybuilding, you have to be passionate about it because,
Yeah.
you know, not everybody, like I said, does this because of fame and fortune. They do it because they love it. That's what some ladies would say. They understand they may not make as much when it comes to prize money. They may not get sponsored, but they do it because they love it. He got a comment from man KL, and he says, "That's cool. You're trying to make a difference, Lisa. Thank you, brother.
I'll try. I'll do my best.
That's all you can do." He says, "It's a sacrifice. Yeah, you got to win. It's a sacrifice. You're not winning sacrifice. You know, you're not gonna get anything. It's anything worth having. You have to really, you know, this is thing. I call it. It's equivalent exchange. Order obtained, something of greater or lesser value must be lost. So sometimes you have to gain something. You have to lose something. But when you gain, well, you get something in return when you do that." So, folks, I appreciate y'all for coming through. Let's shout out and give a clap to lovely Miss Lisa Saygun for coming through here.
George.
Best of luck to her in the future. I want to give a shout out to my man KL, the Wanderer, coming through. My brother Lawrence Perkins, the lovely former women's physique champion Natalia Abraham Cuejo. You know, we hope we see her competing. No, just do the Olympia. Don't do other shows. There's people saying that they're cool with it, but there's other people saying, nah, they're not cool with it. They're not cool with it. I understand. You want to be busy, but you know, some people say, hey, they want to get the shot. They want to be going to. That's why, like last year, there was only 3 women in Pittsburgh because they were thinking about Natalia's gonna do that show. But you know, she took a step back, and you know, she did other shows. But like I said again, that's what you want to do. That's you. But it's just me. I think
it's good that you've got the top tier girls actually competing at the pro show. Only for one particular reason, not the fact that they're, you know, taking out other opportunities for other girls to get into the Olympia. That can be strategy, but you know, they set the tone, George, for what is expected in the criteria, right? So if Sid was doing more shows, right, and not just the Olympia, hypothetically speaking, that would set the tone. Do you know what I mean? Whereas these top athletes, these Olympians, they just do the Olympia, but then that's not having an impact on a pro standard, on a pro level at the pro shows because they're not being seen there.
Yeah, but one thing, like, you know, we saw like Derek Lungford and both Samson do it, did Arnold. That's one of the biggest shows around. It's a big paycheck for them. That's what means there's a bigger paycheck for them compared to the women. Like, you know, with Andrea, she does her, and most of those ladies get invited to the Rising Phoenix, and that's because it was a show that was created because after Olympia pushed out women's bodybuilding, or as I say it, walk behind them quietly and stab them in the heart. But you know, I understand, but maybe just. It's like when you see a certain team keeps winning the Super Bowl or any kind of championship, you get tired of them after a while. You want to see somebody new, somebody fresh. So, but that's just me. Like I said, I'm weird like that. I'm an old man, so I'm weird like that. So
You're just well seasoned.
I've been seasoned with pepper and salt and everything else. So you know, a little garlic and onion, put it on me. You know, put me in the oven. But anyway, folks, I appreciate you. Yeah, no, like I said again, you don't ever have to. This is why I do this. What you do and what I do, we're trying to give women the voice they need, the opportunity they need. I know I would love someday have Andrea on here, but it's great when I get to talk to anybody in this sport, you know, and just give your feedback. But yeah, we do appreciate you.
Thank you.
You know, tell your little boy, your little man, can't wait. He's gonna be in the double digits now. He's gonna be a man.
I know, double digits.
Remember, beat him down. Beat him down. Don't let him dig too big. Beat him down. Beat him down.
He's almost as tall as me. That's not hard, by the way, because I'm only short. But yeah, it won't be long before he'll be putting his elbow on my head.
Yeah, remember, you're still mama. And no matter my brother was 6 feet tall. My mother's like very 5'5". My
Yeah.
brother was 200 some pounds, a football player. He still respect my mama because she was his mother, and she whooped the shit out of him. But
Yeah.
yeah. But like I said again, I appreciate my men's coming through, supporting us. Shout out again to the champions. Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to Kai. Shout out to anybody who watched this live stream. Support these men and women's sport.
Thank you.
If you're someone interested in sponsorship or even helping, if you're in the Australian area and you want to expand your region, take that opportunity, take that risk, step up. Need more people. Athletes need opportunity because you know what? Bodybuilding is a sport where it's not a lot of it's a hit or miss. But if you love it enough and you really are determined enough, there's a way. You just gotta find it. You gotta make it.
That's right.
All right.
Thank you, George.
All right, you're welcome again. Anyway, folks, have enjoyed the rest of your weekend. Tomorrow is Sunday. Remember, put your clock back, folks. Daylight saving time here in the state for us. By midnight, we have to change our. You already said.
Well, Queensland, the state up north, we don't have daylight savings, so it's every other state in Australia does. So we go all back onto the same time zone now.
Yeah. Well, here we're going to be an hour ahead, so that's going to be by tonight. So everybody, make sure you check your clock. You don't want to get on Monday morning, be at the work early in the parking lot, say, "Hey, it's supposed to be shit. I ain't supposed to be to work." Can't go back home. Just sit in the parking lot, which is to open up. But I thank you again, Lisa. I appreciate it. Best of luck to you in the future. You're welcome. This is your man, always Judge Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I am out. Have a good evening, good night, good luck, and God bless.